Dallas Willard tells a story about Oliver Cromwell, and it goes that he was sitting with a group of friends, and they're deep in an argument. Cromwell listens for a while, and finally, when he can't take it anymore, he blurted out, "I beseech ye, brethren, by the bowels of Christ, believe ye may be wrong." Now, I get it, language has changed a bit since then. I don't know that I would beseech anyone by the bowels of Christ, but it seemed to work just fine for old British guys in the 1600s. Well, that story made me think, if there's anything that goes against the grain in 2022, in our day and age, it's admitting that you're wrong. We've come to this moment in our divided culture where we believe that to admit wrong or to say I'm sorry is to show weakness or to give in to our perceived enemies. And I suppose that if everything in this life is a game to be won or lost, we might lose our sense of humanity and our ability to walk humbly with God in the vicious attempt to win at all costs. Well, I have found in my life that there is a special grace from God when I have enough humility to recognize where I've been wrong and can admit that those opinions that I once felt so strongly about were misguided, incomplete, or just flat out untrue. I was thinking about it. Can you imagine how differently the past 3 or 4 or 5 years might have looked in the world and in our culture if we had the humility to walk with a sense of humility with each other? Can you imagine if millions of people turned off cable news and instead sat down to listen to each other and to care for one another humbly, just like Jesus would? Now, I know that in the heat of any given moment, my feelings can get ahead of what is true and good. Feelings have that effect. The fruit of those feelings looks like anger, self-righteousness, defensiveness, and arrogance. A huge part of our spiritual formation is allowing Christ to cultivate a different kind of fruit, the fruit of the Spirit of God. And Paul describes it in Galatians 5:22. He says, "But the Holy Spirit produces this kind of fruit in our lives: love, joy, peace, patience, kindness, goodness, faithfulness, gentleness, and self-control. There's no law against these things." So my prayer for us is that we would make fewer enemies and more friends, and that humility would lead us into a place where the fruit of our lives is a direct result of the work of the Holy Spirit.